Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Duke domination, a consistent theme of this season, but a little Blue Devil grit and grind has taken Duke to #1 for the first time this season, where their first test as the nation's top team comes in front of a sold-out crowd at South Bend against Notre Dame. Kevin Brown, Corey Alexander, happy Tuesday night to you. Down the stretch in the regular season, and there is a new #1. It's Duke, the team that has the most #1 weeks ever in the history of the AP Top 25 after that thrilling win over Michigan.
Well, and the Blue Devils dipping out of conference for their Saturday matchup. Of course, 1 versus 3, where Duke was able to beat Michigan and become the #1 team in the country by beating the #1 team in the country. But they're able to do it with their defense, and that's truly the calling card of this Blue Devil team. We know they have the National Player of the Year frontrunner in Cameron Boozer. However, it's the others that really stepped up at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. and made their presence felt. Dame Sarr, whose biggest production was on the defensive end of the floor. Nicholas Haminia was able to grab 9 rebounds, meaning he's finishing plays. And then Caleb Foster, who's 8 first-half points, even though he got in foul trouble, led the way for the Blue Devils and really established how the game was going to be played Saturday evening.
Duke held Michigan nearly 28 points below its season average of 90. Those were just 3 of the standouts. Patrick Gungba had 11 and 6, a huge offensive rebound in the final minute. Isaiah Evans scored 14. Caden Boozer was a good distributor. The Duke depth was on display, and now the Blue Devils hope to avoid getting tripped up here in South Bend, where Notre Dame is riding one of the most amazing streaks in college basketball history. The Fighting Irish have won 6 straight home games against the AP #1 team all the way back to UCLA in 1974. 7 straight if you include beating the coaches poll #1 North Carolina in 2016. We'll see, Corey, if this group of Irish can be giant slayers. It's a tough task. What do they have to do to hang with Duke?
Well, one, they're going to have to make threes, and when you consider what Notre Dame's strength is, it's having Cole Serta and having Braden Shrewsbury on the floor together. And what do you mean if you include that? Digger Phelps is in the building, and Digger Phelps was responsible, so therefore you're absolutely going to have to count that one win, the coaches poll, as a #1. Digger made sure to come over and give you the count prior to this game.
There he is, the giant slayer himself, Digger Phelps, who led Notre Dame over UCLA January 19th, 1974, snapped the longest win streak in college basketball history. Not quite the win streak at stake here for Duke, which has only won 4 in a row, but 60 and 6 the last 2 years, the best in the country. And John Shire's team will look to get to 26 and 2. Patrick Gungba to jump it up against Carson Tout. Bill Covington Jr. will wait to put it in the air. And on the 3rd try, Tout is denied. Tony Henderson, Tony Padilla, and the aforementioned Bill Covington. Tonight's officials, it's Duke ball to start. And the Blue Devils get an early touch for Gungba around Tout. Patrick Gungba, the 6'11 sophomore, starts the scoring.
And Tout giving away about 4 inches of size when you consider his height compared to Gungba underneath, and Gungba able to use that size advantage to score over the top in the first possession.
Notre Dame starting 5, Cole Serta, Braden Shrewsbury, the big shooters. Logan Imes runs the point with Brady Kaler and Carson Tout. Jalen Harrelson, leading scorer and assist man, out for a 3rd straight game with an ankle injury.
Oh, that was very close. I believe Dame Sarr went back to his international experience on that one, taking that off the rim. As you see the Duke starting 5, Caleb Foster back at the point guard position.
Serta had the shot attempt, and Duke is whistled for a turnover on its 2nd possession. Notre Dame just 3 and 11 in ACC play this year. At the moment, they're 16th in the 18-team league, and only the top 15 make the conference tournament. So they need at least win, if not 2, in their final 4 to make it to Charlotte. Here's Shrewsbury, son of Micah Shrewsbury, the Irish head coach. Shrewsbury and Serta have been defended tightly so far, as we expect they'll be all day.
And how about the fact that John Shire going with Isaiah Evans to take on that matchup as Duke gets the shot clock violation, doing the job defensively. But on the previous possession, Watch this shot by Cole Serta. Dame Sarr takes that off the rim. That should be 2 points in favor of the Irish. That ball is still above the basket before Sarr touched it. We know he has international experience before he came to Duke, and it's legal in FIBA rules, but not legal in the NCAA.
And Notre Dame cannot challenge that because there's not a whistle on the play. Boozer with a stop on the dish from Gungba. First 4 for the Blue Devils right at the rim.
One of the things that Micah Shrewsbury talked to us about is Boozer gets to steal, where he averages 1.8 a game. Top 12 in ACC action. And when you think about Cameron Boozer, the front runner for the National Player of the Year, the oldest play in the game is called the old give and go, Kevin Brown. And one of the things Micah Shrewsbury talked to us about was how good of passers the Blue Devils front court players are when you consider Gungba, Boozer, and Malik Brown.
Boozer, who leads the Blue Devils in just about every major category, is a 77% foul shooter. The hope for Micah Shrewsbury today is that they could keep Cameron Boozer out of the paint, try to keep him behind the arc. Unsuccessful so far. John Shire has taken Duke back to #1. They were there at the end of the season last year. Went into the tournament as the AP #1 team. Of course, lost to Houston in the Final Four. His record as head coach, Corey, 114 wins, only 24 losses.
Well, his athletic director, Nina King, was in the building with him earlier today, and I told her, you know, this guy's not too bad, meaning her hire as head coach in John Shire.
Kaler is fouled by Gungba. An aggressive take for the 6'10 freshman from Fishers, Indiana. For a few Indiana kids, for an Indiana kid himself, Micah Shrewsbury is looking for his first win against a ranked team in his 3rd season at Notre Dame.
Micah Shrewsbury also going out there without his 2 most dominant and proficient guards scoring the basketball. You talk about Marcus Burton, who was injured 10 games into the season, and now Jalen Harrison missing his 3rd straight game with an ankle injury. And when you consider these 2 guys combined average close to 35 points per game, so a huge loss for the Fighting Irish sitting in street clothes.
Micah said they're hoping to have Jalen Harrison back Saturday. We talked to Jalen. He seems pretty optimistic as well from that ankle, but nobody here expects to see Marcus Burton until next year. Boozer, Gungba with a stop. A couple of Duke dunks for an early 8-2 lead.
But Cameron Boozer would not have been wrong for taking that shot, but he gave up a good shot for a great shot. Gungba gets the bucket underneath, but that's what these Blue Devils are about making the right play.
Kaler spins out this first 3-point attempt for Notre Dame. Previous one was not recorded because of the shot clock violation. So the Irish 0 for 2. Devils are 3 for 3, and Boozer is fouled by Kaler. Boozer has already drawn 2 Notre Dame fouls.
But it's been Boozer and Gungba looking out for each other this time. Boozer could have finished that one off, but he drops it off to his fellow big man for the easy dunk. And now Boozer with an opportunity to put 2 more points at the free throw line, but it's off of a nice feed from Gungba. These guys do a tremendous job in the high-low action, passing the basketball back and forth.
3 for 3 for Cameron Boozer, son of the Duke great, longtime NBA player Carlos Boozer. Boozer, brother of Caden, who is a freshman guard, will come off the bench, we imagine, shortly. And he's 3 for 4 at the line to start. 9-2 Duke advantage. Playing as the #1 team for the first time this year. Evans has been guarding Serta. Caleb Foster on Braden Shrewsbury. The 2 great shooters for Notre Dame have gotten no clean looks. Here's Shrewsbury, try to get space on the tout screen, and Foster went over it. Kaler, deep shot clock. Tough 2 is good.
Kaler's confidence is growing, and he continues to be a young man that can not only play off the bounce, but can shoot the 3 ball. And did Micah Shrewsbury get teed up?
Tony Padilla blew the whistles right in front of him, and I believe so. It's a technical foul. Micah's laughing at the end of the Notre Dame bench.
Well, Micah Shrewsbury's wondering why there was no call on the contact on the other end of the floor when Kaler attacked the basket. But oftentimes coaches will say whatever's necessary to get the technical foul, early to set the tone with the officials throughout the game. And Micah Shrewsbury is simply going to stand up for his players. After Kaler's able to get the bucket, Shrewsbury, right in the ear of Tony Padilla, has something to say. And I don't think that Micah has a problem with that technical foul.
They might have a problem with 2 points Isaiah Evans scored. But somebody's got to establish the tone for Notre Dame early.
Well,
another foul underneath as Gungba hit the deck.
One thing that can inspire players more than anything is understanding that your coaches have your back. Brady Kaler attacks the basket. There's contact, but there's no call. However, there have been multiple calls on this end for the Blue Devils. That's, I'm sure, what Micah Shrewsbury was having a conversation about, and now he's talking with Tony Henderson along the sideline. And it's simply just that. Hey, they're fouling on the other end, too, and you can't allow it to happen on one side and not on the other.
Here's Gungba off the inbound. The foul was on Imes as Gungba puts home another 2. He's got 6. Boozer's got 5, and Duke is owning the paint.
But such an advantage with Gungba, who has great touch around the rim, his ability to finish over top of the smaller defender in Tau.
Boozer knocks it away. It's off of Kaler. And Notre Dame turns it over for the second time. Brady Kaler wanted a challenge, but Micah Shrewsbury doesn't seem interested.
Well, Kaler
wants Kaler out of the game.
Yeah, he wanted a challenge because he knew he was coming out. Garrett Sundra was already on his way to the scorer's table to check in for Kaler.
Sundra, who started 16 games, has been off the bench the last couple of months for the most part.
And Sundra, who's also high school teammates as well as teammates on the Peach Jam champion TTO team takeover with Patrick Gumba and Darren Harris for the Blue Devils, getting an opportunity to go up against his former teammates here this evening.
Gumba had the assist for Foster there. Duke is 5 for 5 from the field and 5 for 6 from the line.
And many people are wondering, will there be a hangover for the Blue Devils after that huge win on Saturday? John Shire treated this as a business trip. They went to Chicago on Sunday. They've been away, did not go back to Durham, and now have not dealt with that distraction. A great time for team bonding and allowing these guys to be focused in on business at hand this evening.
Gumba turns it over. If anybody's wondering if there would be a hangover for Michigan, might not be wondering for much longer. 16-4, a great start for Duke. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit Progressive. 88 in a row, coached by Digger Phelps. He and Notre Dame had a reputation for beating #1 teams. They've done so as a program 8 times, tied for 8th most in D1 history.
He absolutely has, and I'm surprised Digger hasn't tried to jump over here and broadcast this game like he did to get a heads up on UCLA beforehand.
It's the best note we found in the research of the 74 game, which is that in December, UCLA beat NC State, who had won 29 in a row. Digger Phelps was there scouting the game, and somehow, as an active coach, as only Digger could, worked his way onto the broadcast team televising the game and took notes during commercials. And that scouting report would prove prophetic a month later.
And we won't call that an unfair advantage because it was a live scout.
Sure.
And a great job by the Fighting Irish defensively as they get an ovation for getting the shot clock violation against the Blue Devils, so returning the favor. And maybe that can get the Fighting Irish going as they've struggled on the offensive end of the floor going up against this stingy Duke defense.
Hey, you know what? UCLA led that game 33-16. They led by 17. So Notre Dame only down 12 here, though. It might be 14. Sarr took it away from Muhammad, scored the basket, and there was no foul call as Muhammad came close to fully undercutting him.
But that's the thing about Dame Sarr, his ability to guard 94 feet and put so much pressure on much smaller ball handlers.
Sarr picks up a foul here.
Sarr guarding Muhammad. 94, picks it up, takes it in for 2. Fortunate there is that left foot is clipped. I like the no call on that possession. But Sarr doing the job defensively, similar to what we saw from him taking on Elliot Cadeau, holding him to 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. 8 points for Cadeau, who has been playing at an All-American level all season.
Caden Boozer's in the game for Duke. Malik Brown, Nicholas Amenya off the bench. Sar and Cameron Boozer, who left it short, got his own miss. Boozer waiting. Boozer into the underbelly of the net, draws another foul.
So think about this. Michael Shrewsbury told us pregame, we've got to make sure we keep Boozer out of the paint. That hasn't happened thus far. We got to keep him from fouling out our entire front line. That hasn't happened thus far. And we got to keep him away from the offensive rebound. Well, he just gets an offensive rebound and goes back to the free throw line for 2 more. So Cameron Boozer flexing his muscles early in this game.
Basically everything he feared
has come to pass. Yes, just like this 19-4 deficit that he's in early, because this is the last team you want to get behind. Now, in Duke's 2 losses this season, they have had 15 and 13-point leads respectively. But both of those losses were to ranked teams who were playing great basketball when you consider the Tar Heels and Texas Tech. So not sure if Notre Dame is playing as confidently as such, but they don't want to continue to dig this hole deeper early in the game.
Boozer's on the bench for the first time. 20-4 Duke. 11 straight for the Blue Devils. Shrewsbury rises over Boozer, short on a 3, knocked out to Caden Boozer, a 6'4" freshman. He's been a very good point guard off the bench for Duke. No turnovers, 3 assists in the win over Michigan for Caden. Gungba, a man who can facilitate, gets it back from Sar. Gungba strip, gets it back into the corner. Menya off the side of the backboard. Gungba tracks it down. The shot clock is not reset. There's 3 to go, and Boozer throws it right to Muhammad. We nearly lost it to Brown. Here's Kaler. And a little bump there as Sundra was going for the rebound. Amenya banged into him, and he picks up his first foul.
I really love Brady Kaler. I believe that he's going to be a star in this Notre Dame uniform. A young man who has tremendous confidence. Oftentimes, Michael Shrewsbury having to calm him down a bit. But I believe he has a chance. We had a chance to see Gungba and Sundra kind of playing a little hand tag over there earlier. 2 former teammates going at it. Sundra off the bounce finds Kaler in the corner, who's able to knock down the first 3 of the game for the Fighting Irish.
He has every one of Notre Dame's 7 points after scoring 7 in the last 2 games combined.
Notre Dame now going to the zone defensively.
How often do you expect him to do this?
I believe we'll see him do it a lot, especially when they can't control the Blue Devils getting in the painted area. And even though Boozer's able to get into the paint once again against the zone, they're unable to get a score. So a chance for the Fighting Irish to put together a couple positive offensive possessions.
Feels like you have to take everything you can get when Cameron Boozer's off the floor tonight. Muhammad is fouled by Caden Boozer, his first and Duke's 4th.
Garrett Sundra going off the bounce, keeping Gungba on the perimeter. The drive and kick, Brady Kaler in the corner, knocks down the 3-ball. And as you mentioned, all 7 points for Kaler.
Good shooter, 39% from 3. Notre Dame has several good shooters. Sundra took a push from his buddy Gungba, and that's 2 fouls on Patrick Gungba in the first 8:02. So Sundra with free throws when we come back to South Bend.
Start here in South Bend. The first possession of the game, catching, sealing under the basket, able to finish over the top of the smaller tout, and then off the nice feed from Cameron Boozer, able to flush it home, and once again finishing over the smaller tout, showing off his touch. Gungba off to a great start, 6 points, also 2 assists to go along with 3 rebounds early in the game.
And Duke's going to miss him with a couple of early fouls here, but he's been such a terrific player after a season where he averaged a little less than 4 points, 3 rebounds. But Duke had such a great front line last season. They needed to step up from Gungba this year. Has he been what you expected, or maybe even more?
He's been exactly what I was expecting. But if you go back to the end of last season when Kama Malawach was injured, especially in the ACC tournament, Patrick Gungba came up and played big minutes for the Blue Devils as he sits beside his teammate Darren Harris. They both were together in high school as well as in AAU, along with the guy at the free throw line, Garrett Sunder, who misses 2 at the free throw strike.
Sunder now 10 for 17 on the year. Cameron Boozer has returned for Duke, which has a 10-0 advantage in the paint and a 13-point advantage in the game. There's Isaiah Evans pulling up for 2. That flat shot knocked out of bounds by Hamenian. Well, Micah Shrewsbury said, we're going to see how Duke guards Cole Serta and Braden Shrewsbury early in the game. Find out what they're doing. Get some information. What have you seen Duke do?
Well, one thing is neither of them really been able to get going. Cole Serta only has 1 field goal attempt, and that was the first possession offensively in the game where he should have got 2 points, but it was taken off the rim by Dame Sarr. And then Braden Shrewsbury has 2 field goal attempts, 1 for 3, but everything has been contested for both of those players. This is where they truly miss Jalen Harrelson. I mean, we can't even mention Marcus Burton, all-ACC performer, but this is where they miss Jalen Harrelson so much because he can get to the rim and create opportunities for his teammates.
Muhammad runs the point. Tout has subbed back into the game, and a tough pass by Muhammad is stolen. Here's Cameron Boozer, and Muhammad pushed him in the back. That's an easy call against Sir Muhammad, his 2nd foul. Hey, tonight on ESPN2, we got number 1 Duke right now. Number 2 Arizona follows our game at Baylor. And the 19th ranked BYU, led by A.J. DeBonsa, hosts UCF. A UCF team that's pretty close to locking up a tournament bid. That's a doubleheader in the Big 12 on ESPN2 and on the ESPN app. All top 4 teams in the nation are playing tonight.
I love how all you ESPN analysts talk about locking up a tournament.
You're an ESPN analyst. What are you talking about? I'm the play-by-play guy.
You talk about locking up a tournament
I read
bid.
Joe McCarthy's daily emails.
There are still 3 weeks remaining before the tournament selection.
UCF has a very good resume. If they win at BYU,
let's say
they could lose out, and they'd probably still get a bid.
I doubt it. Not if they lose out.
UCF has good net, good lob, wins above bubble. Win at BYU would be a great quad 1 win.
I agree.
But
losing out will not help them get in the tournament.
I'd say it would help. Here's a bucket by Kaler. Of course it's Kaler. He has every one of Notre Dame's 9 points.
And one of the things about Kaler, he is not scared. Fearless, attacking the basket, tremendous competitor, and continues to be confident.
Amenya with a wide open 3. Just kidding.
He
stepped out of bounds.
The most common turnover in the game of basketball. Players normally with big feet standing in the corner, but this is a guy with big feet standing in the corner that has great footwork and is able to attack off the bounce, beating Boozer off the dribble.
5 turnovers now for Duke, 5 apiece in the game. Shrewsbury runs into a 2. And Evans has the rebound. Shrewsbury still yet to score, and nobody scored besides Kaler for the Irish. Boozer, Evans, Hamenya was inbounds this time. In the corner, Caden Boozer. Beautiful ball movement. It felt like it deserved a basket, but Shrewsbury has it for the Irish.
But without Gungba on the floor, it's been a little better for the Irish, finishing plays defensively. And Cole Serta, Braden Shrewsbury, both great shooters, continue to shoot these floaters. I'm not sure why. And speaking of great shooters, Isaiah Evans does it the right way from 3 and is able to knock it down to increase the lead to 16 for the Blue Devils.
Shrewsbury guarded by Caden Boozer. Brown switches on. Now the double team after the hard head. Shrewsbury's in a world of trouble, and Serta bailed him out. Brown comes again, and this time Brown is called for a foul. It's his 2nd and the 7th on Duke.
Isaiah Evans wastes no time. Caden Boozer just drops it off from about 25 feet. Evans is able to show off his range, knocks down the 3-ball. But let me show this. No celebration from Slim. Normally you see something from Slim after a big 3. That time, business as usual. And this has been a business trip for the Blue Devils. They got the win in Washington, D.C. They make the trip to Chicago, work out in the Chicago Bulls practice facility on Sunday, practice at DePaul on Monday, and then make the trip down. Of course, I know the reality behind it. Jon Scheyer just wanted to go home. Spent a couple of days back at the crib.
One of the real Chicago guys in our game, Jon Scheyer. Could you blame him, given the opportunity?
Tremendous amount of Chicago flavor in the building this evening. Many of the Duke fans that I've talked to pregame coming from Chicago, coming from Milwaukee, all over the region to see the Blue Devils in their trip to South Bend. They actually played one of the most watched games on TV this year in Chicago when they went up against Arkansas. A 35-point performance for Cameron Boozer.
Well, he's got 11 right now. He's the first player in double figures. In fact, he's got as many points as the entire Notre Dame team.
And he's the first Blue Devil freshman to ever have multiple 35-point games in a season. And if he keeps up at this pace, he might get a third.
Muhammad. Carson Tout, great rebounder, not a big scorer. Feeds Serta. That's a tough shot, contested well by Evans. Boozer 3. Bangs it home. Boozer with 14 in the opening, not even 11.5 minutes.
Well, for the record, in case anyone was wondering, it was last year against Notre Dame that Cooper Flagg broke the freshman scoring record in the ACC. Now, the record has since been broken by Michael Brown at Louisville, who scored 45 against NC State earlier this year, as Cole Serta is able to knock down his first bucket of the game.
So Serta, who had the free throws, has the first field goal for anybody other than Kaler. Kaler has 9, Serta has 5, and the lead is back to 16 for Duke. Evans with a 3. Got it! Evans got a screen from Hamenya and a feed from Boozer.
Evans doesn't need much space at all, and I think people realize that he's 6'7", so his ability to raise up over top of defenders is elite.
Duke is 4 for 6 from 3. Notre Dame 2 for 8. Serta against Cameron Boozer, great defender. Serta, Muhammad, back to Serta in the corner. That wouldn't go. Tout has the rebound, missed the dunk. After he might have aided and abetted Hamenya to the ground.
Cameron Boozer has had 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists in every game this season. The only player this century to do so. Right now, he's already at 14, 5, and 1 assist. The streak continues.
And time for tonight's Better Outcomes, brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Pretty darn good outcomes for Duke this season. 9-2 against ranked teams, winning at Michigan State, beating Michigan, Arkansas on a neutral floor, Kansas, Texas on a neutral floor, Florida at home. Cam Boozer against top 25 teams has just been crazy good. Right now, updating the numbers, CA, Boozer's got 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, so he's extended that streak. The entire Notre Dame team has combined for 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists.
Yeah, I missed out on one of the assists earlier when I was talking about it going to break. But the fact that this has not happened, he's the first Division I player to do this century, I mean, is amazing. You're talking about a freshman that was absolutely prepared to play this game from day one. But the way that he goes about his business and continues to be not only coachable, but also learning from his teammates. Had a chance to talk with him and Malik Brown earlier today, and just how he listens to Malik Brown and how Malik has helped him become a better defender.
That vision. He set up Foster, who missed, but Boozer's got the rebound. Evans can't connect on the 3. So Boozer with his 6th rebound and a couple of offensive boards. obviously a great basketball teacher, and his dad, Carlos, Cameron, and Caden just uniquely mature for freshmen, which, by the way, we've said about quite a few freshmen at Duke the last couple of years.
I'm not sure why you guys continue to give Carlos all the love. CC is the teacher.
CC gets a lot of love, too. Absolutely.
CC doesn't get enough love.
Imes picks up his second foul. Hey, women's basketball Thursday night. It's always a good one in the SEC. In Baton Rouge, Tennessee visits 6th-ranked LSU Thursday night, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on ESPN and the ESPN app. The SEC right now has the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th-ranked teams in the country.
The SEC women's basketball is an absolute gauntlet. And when you consider that all those teams that you're talking about, Tennessee isn't even ranked anymore. And it's all because they keep beating up on each other. But when the 16 reveal comes out, it's probably going to be, 8 SEC teams in the top 16 in the NCAA reveal.
We've said this before. The SEC women's basketball this year, it's pretty much what SEC men's basketball was last year.
Very, very true.
35-14, the Duke lead, #1 team in the country here in the men's game. There's Logan Imes. Gungba's back on the floor with those 2 fouls. Shrewsbury just hasn't had an open look from 3 all game. Gets a screen from Tout, feeds Tout, knocked away by Darren Harris, but there is a foul against Harris, who had just checked in for the first time.
But here comes the problem. Okay, that foul sends Tout to the free throw line for a 1-and-1, where he is shooting 26% in ACC play. And for those of you who have not watched Notre Dame, chime in to this free throw technique. Oh, but he missed. He was trying to hit the backboard. That's what it's been all season long. He's going off the glass. I've actually had people in the arena say at some point Carson Tout has to start going underhand, which back in the day we used to call granny style.
Yes, the Rick Barry. Nobody does it. Somebody should pick it back up. There are not enough great free throw shooters in America. Somebody should just do it. It worked for Rick Barry. It could work again. Patrick Gungba, and that's what Tout does really well. He's the leading active rebounder in the country, over 1,330 career.
Nice job defensively by Frost right there, bodying up with Gungba.
Logan Imes traveled. He thought he didn't have possession, but Imes will be called for Notre Dame's 6th turnover. Arguing there was a bobble in there. Tony Henderson disagreed.
Well, Michael Shrewsbury felt like Imes was smacked across the arm and the call wasn't made. He made that gesture as soon as the whistle was blown.
Notre Dame with 6 turnovers and only 4 made field goals.
In the zone defensively once again for the Fighting Irish.
Sarr just slashes through it. He took some big steps. Not a hard call there for Bill Covington and company. Tout's going to take the ball up here for Notre Dame.
Well, that's the only way you alleviate the pressure of Sarr. Is you give it to your bigs to handle the basketball.
Foul was Foster's first. That's 9 on Duke, and Braden Shrewsbury was fouled, an 80% free throw shooter, so he'll have a 1-and-1 opportunity. Kaler scored the first 9, Serta the next 5. And Shrewsbury leaves it off the side of the iron.
So it's another one that struggles for the Fighting Irish throughout this season. They have struggled to shoot free throws, only shooting 66.4% in ACC play from the free throw stripe.
Boozer going to work on Tout, flips it up off the backboard, tipped by Tout, saved by Shrewsbury.
Great effort by Tout on the glass right there to keep Gungba away from another offensive rebound.
Here's Serta. On a drive around Caden Boozer. Serta with a land.
Love the attack by Serta, as he's now scored the last 7 points for the Fighting Irish. But more importantly, instead of going to the floater, he attacks the basket.
Harris attacks, and Darren Harris is on the score sheets.
Strong start for Darren Harris in his first action of the game, putting points on the board, going off the bounce. He was excited to play against Garrick Sundra in this game, even went as far as to say, oh, I'm dunking on him today.
3 St. Paul the 6 standouts in this game. The high school from Virginia. Harris, Gungba, Sundra. Boozer in a double team. Flips it up right through the contact of Frost and Tout. More free throws coming for Cameron Boozer. He'll have taken 10 free throws by the time we come back with Duke rolling.
Virginia, plus one of the hottest teams in college basketball. Cincinnati's in action right now. Coach, game like this, what's John Shire hoping to get out of it?
First, he's going to hold his team to a standard of how they're supposed to play, but he's going to try to accomplish a couple of things. He's not going to tell his team that, but early in the game, they play for Patrick Gamba. Maybe he's going to look at some different lineups. Maybe he's going to get Harris some more minutes, or Hamenya, reward him for how hard he's played and the grit he's brought to the team. So this right now, he's looking at kind of using the rest of the game as an experiment.
Kevin Corey will see you at the half.
Back to the South Bend Laboratory, gentlemen, where Cameron Boozer can match Notre Dame's point total at the line. He's got as many assists as the Irish and only 3 fewer rebounds. 7 for 8 from the free throw line for Boozer, whose season high free throw makes is 9. He's done that twice. Season high in free throw attempts. That was their opener, the Dick Vitale Invitational. 12 free throws against Texas. And Boozer is 9 for 10.
What an advantage to have when you've got a player that causes so much and attracts so much attention when he's able to go to the free throw strike. 75% on the season, but 90% here this evening.
Ryder Frost, the freshman. This is on a 3. Boozer's got rebound number 7. He could have a double-double by halftime. Harris for Boozer. Thought about a 3. Gives it to his brother. Gets it back off the screen. Into the corner for Sarr. Bricks it. Rebound Brown.
Great opportunity for Sarr to make the one more pass, but the offensive rebound gives Boozer another opportunity as he knocks down the 3 ball.
19 in the first half for Cameron Boozer, who has been an absolute clinician. It feels like he's playing the game at both twice the speed and half the speed of his opponents.
I would go with half the speed. He's not being sped up. He's getting exactly what he wants and doing it on both ends of the floor. I think the most undervalued part of Cameron Boozer's game is what he does defensively. And he's one of the main reasons why the Blue Devils are such a good defensive team. As a team, you're only as good as your bigs are defensively. You can have great guards pressuring the basketball, but if your bigs don't back them up and can't complement that, it's going to be a struggle. The Blue Devils have great big defenders in Malik Brown, Cameron Boozer, and Patrick Gumba that allow them to be a great defensive team.
I mean, they are moving the ball before it's barely in their fingers. Another offensive rebound for Cameron. Evans. Offensive rebound, Darren Harris, who goes up and gets fouled.
And to Coach Greenberg's point, this is a game where John Shire can try to establish something with Darren Harris. Darren didn't play in the game against Michigan. He's played in all but 2 games this season. And now making a layup early, getting to the free throw line, these are the type of things that can establish some confidence with Darren Harris so that in those tight games, John Shire feels as though he can rely on it.
Yeah, the rotation is 8+ for Duke. Harris has played every game except for North Carolina and Michigan. Just 9.6 minutes a game. But you mentioned with Gungba last year, he was kind of a bit part of the rotation, and then late injuries he had to play more. You never know if Darren Harris might be thrust into more action, and it's pretty good when your 9th guy was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Virginia just 2 years ago.
Yes, especially when you consider the talent that was in the state of Virginia at the time.
A couple of them are here. Shrewsbury, no. And Boozer's got rebound number 9. The Devils are shooting 48% from the field, 15 of 16 at the line, and Cameron Boozer is going to go right back there. He is picking up a foul on everybody in a Notre Dame jersey.
And that was the fear of Micah Shrewsbury. We cannot let Cameron Boozer foul out our entire front line. and he has been handing out fouls throughout this game. And you look at Boozer, 15-5 in 22 straight games. As a matter of fact, I think his season low, the 14, was in that first game of the season, where he did go to the free throw line 12 times against Texas. So he has continued to get better and better as the season's gone along, and more comfortable on the floor.
One more for Boozer. Just a second free throw miss. You know, Jimenez went to the scorer's table after the first free throw. Cam probably thought, I'm going to check out of the game. I missed this. I may as well stay in the game. 20-9 in the first half as Muhammad scores for Notre Dame. 45-18. Duke has never trailed, led by as many as 29 in its first game this year as the #1 team. Harris in the corner. Offensive rebound. Brown, the 8th offensive rebound for Duke in 14 misses. And then Harris turns it over. And more than half their misses they've grabbed, and now Jimenez will get Cam Boozer. And Notre Dame's one of the better rebounding teams in the ACC. Not tonight, where they are -15.
But the Blue Devils lead the ACC in rebound margin. And let's go back to this. Michigan is one of the best rebounding teams in the country. And the Blue Devils out-rebounded them by 13, I believe, on Saturday. So Duke showing that it's one of, if not the best rebounding team in the nation.
The only tiny little iota of a concern tonight is foul trouble, and that's 3. Or actually, that's 2 on Caden Boozer, not the 3rd on Brown. So Caden, Boozer, Patrick Gungba, Malik Brown, all with 2. And a couple of free throws for Serta. ACC's leading free throw shooters at 90% on the year, and 3 for 3 today.
And so what do? Up 45-19, you bring back in your starting backcourt when you consider Caleb Foster and Dame Sarr. You're 2 of your better on-ball defenders on this roster, with 1:16 remaining, trying to make sure you have the positive momentum going into the halftime locker.
Foster rolls it into the corner. Sarr is wide open and splashes the 6 Duke triple.
But a great read by Caleb Foster. And the roll to the rim by Brown is really what opened up Sarr on the perimeter.
Here's Serta. Maybe his first really clean look of the game. He bricked it.
Now that's a 2-for-1 opportunity. Caleb Foster
got it out to Sarr. Got it in for 3.
So when you say 2-for-1, now they should get 2 shots. Garrett Sunder did a good job of holding the basketball and throwing it in. So most likely Duke doesn't get another quality possession, but still should get the ball back with a little time, depending upon how quickly the Fighting Irish go.
Both teams amazingly still have their full complement of timeouts. Amazingly on Notre Dame's end. Muhammad will try to bleed the clock and set up a shot. We'll get a foul. That's on Isaiah Evans. It's his first. It's going to send Serta back to the line.
Now how about this? Isaiah Evans, 2nd in the ACC in free throw percentage, fouling Cole Serta, the #1 player in the ACC in free throw percentage. You think Isaiah might have fouled him, see if he can get him to miss one?
I think that's just as likely as Cameron Boozer missing the free throw so he could stay in the game.
And please believe that Isaiah knows exactly what both numbers are coming into this game.
And Serta 6 for 6. Muhammad has 2 points. Serta and Kaler the only other Notre Dame scorers. And you know what? Duke's going to lose this timeout. Might as well take it. The Notre Dame crowd doesn't love it. We're back in 30 to see if the Blue Devils can score again. Final 4.4 seconds. Corey, the largest win in this matchup's history was Duke by 34 in 2020. It's a 29-point game here at halftime.
Well, when you consider that this is a great matchup for a number of reasons. But you're talking about the Notre Dame of college basketball with the Blue Devils getting a good look from three and able to knock it down. Caleb Foster buries the three ball. Great ball movement as the Blue Devils push the lead to 32. Heading into the halftime locker room, Cameron Boozer with 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. The Fighting Irish with 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists.
You may not see a more dominant first half the rest of the year in the ACC or in any power conference game. Cameron Boozer and Duke, an absolute wrecking ball in South Bend. Kevin Connor, Seth Greenberg, all yours. 3 decades. 54-22. The Blue Devils after 20 minutes. What can we say but wow?
Well, let me start with this. All right, Duke to basketball is the same as Notre Dame is to football. When you consider when the Blue Devils show up, there are going to be a tremendous amount of Duke Blue in the stands the following, and the Blue Devils have not disappointed. Everybody thought there could be a hangover after the Michigan game. Jon Scheyer did a tremendous job keeping his team out. They did not go back to Durham. Went to Chicago, practice, come here, and it's been a business trip, and they have handled their business here this evening.
They've allowed 22. Cameron Boozer scored 20. He's a rebound away from a double-double. And the halftime stats are just ridiculous. 7 turnovers apiece, but Duke has 13 assists on 15 makes. Notre Dame has 2 assists. Second half against Michigan, Duke gave up just 8 field goals, and they give up just 6 field goals scoring in the first half. That's 14 baskets in the last 40 minutes allowed by Duke.
Well, if anyone has followed the Blue Devils throughout this season, which many do because this is the most watched team in college basketball, they will understand that Duke is a better second half team than they are first half team, which is scary for the fans here. And speaking of scary, Micah Shrewsbury added to the injury list for the Fighting Irish. He did not have that boot on earlier in the day. He didn't have it on in the first half. So now seeing it with the boot on, concerning for the coach of the Fighting Irish.
Has there been a stronger injury to insult this year than Micah Shrewsbury popping up with a boot after halftime? Carson Tout is fouled on a bucket. Here's where we think it happened. Micah standing up, 4:50 to go in the first half. Got a little tripped up by Darren Harris. Didn't look like much, but then limped onto the bench. Marcus Burton's hurt. Jalen Harrelson's hurt. They both have ankle injuries, and now their coach may have one as well.
I hate to interrupt you on that one.
Interrupt.
That was not that's a non-contact injury, which is even scarier. I don't think Darren Harris had anything to do with that, and which is concerning for Micah Shrewsbury as he had to be helped off the floor.
You saw it there. Shrewsbury coaching with a boot on his left foot. With his team down 30, as Tout missed the free throw. Fouls, by the way, were on Gungba, his 3rd, and Evans, his 2nd. Cameron Boozer with a dominant first half will miss it. Well contested by Tout.
Great job by Tout going up and challenging that. Tout, of course, not afraid of contact, so much so that he has hired a football agent. So Carson Tout, after this season, will be hanging up his hoop sneakers for some cleats and attacking the gridiron.
Evans is fouled by Tout, who might be able to do that on the football field. Yeah, he announced yesterday he's signed with JB Sports for NFL representation. It's happened a couple of times where you see a college basketball player who hasn't played college football, notably Antonio Gates at Kent State. Rico Gathers, you noted more recently at Baylor, got drafted by the Cowboys. We asked Micah Shrewsbury about it, and he said, you know, teams were asking about a few different positions, but he said, I could see Carson being a great rush end, because that's basically what you do, crashing the glass as an offensive rebound, just straight line, violent path for the ball.
I'm old enough to have remembered calling basketball games where Jeremy Graham was playing at the University of Miami. And then when his basketball eligibility was expired, he went and played football for a season. Of course, a very good NFL tight end.
Cam with his 3rd steal, and he is fouled on the way up. So free throws number 13 and 14 are coming for Cameron Boozer. Those will be season highs.
Now, one thing about Boozer, There will be no let up in this game. If he's on the floor, he's going to continue to play at the same speed. He's not going to hold back. So he can find himself with 20 free throws in this game because he'll stay in attack mode.
Here's the third steal to go at 20 and 10.
And just great anticipation, getting out, tipping the basketball to himself. But the ball handling ability to get out in transition and with continuous motion, which has been added this year in NCAA basketball, he gets 2 free throws. Last year, that would have been taken out on the side.
What do you think, Corey, his NBA profile looks like?
It's going to look just like it will in college. He's going to do the exact same thing for 15 years in the NBA that he's doing now. Simply because he's skilled enough to get it done.
Logan Imes with a 3 for the Irish.
And he has the will to get it done. The Irish going to need many more of those throughout this game if they want to make it a game trying to get back into this. But the Blue Devils still leading by 31.
Boozer sets up Sorrow at 8 in the first half. Pocket pass Gungba. Evans from Foster will drive it. Gets cut off. Back for Dame Sung. In the corner, Evans is short. Rebounded by Braden Shrewsbury. Still yet to score. Notre Dame's second leading scorer. Now with Jalen Harrelson injured, the leading scorer on the active roster today. Serta had a first half 11. And Tout got entangled with Gungba. And that will be the 4th foul on Duke's Patrick Gungba early in the second half. It's been a little bit of a concern for Duke. He fouled out in just 16 minutes a couple of weeks ago in their loss to North Carolina.
But Gungba got off to such a great start in this game, scoring 6 points early. And that's one of the things that Jon Scheyer is most likely having a conversation with him about, is having to understand when you give up that foul and when you allow the play to just happen so that you don't hurt your team by going to the bench. It doesn't hurt them much in this game, but as you mentioned, it did against the Tar Heels.
Another great find. Another great find. Sarr in and out for 3. Duke's ball movement has been about as crisp as you've ever hoped for tonight.
But look at that. Malik Brown hedging at half court as Carson Tout is favoring his left leg. But the defensive effort for the Blue Devils just absolutely does not stop. A ball screen at half court and Malik Brown jumping out. And it really wasn't much of the contact on Malik Brown. It was more of Logan Imes extending the arm on that one. I don't believe Jon Scheyer will complain about it with a 31-point lead.
You noted that Tout was favored his left leg. He walked off the floor. Garrett Sundra replaces him. Imes turns it over. Ping pongs out to Sarr on the break. 1 on 3 on the kick. Foster. No. Boozer. Yes. Just stole it from Shrewsbury.
Well, Shrewsbury's not going to have much of a chance, and a good athlete, but going up against 6'9", 250 pounds, Boozer's strength allows him to move Shrewsbury right out of the way without using his hands.
12 rebounds, 24 points for Cam Boozer, the National Player of the Year to be. Here's Serta. There are blue jerseys everywhere as Imes misses a 3. And Boozer's got rebound number 13.
How do you say that with such certainty?
National Player of the Year to be?
Yes.
You looked at his stats?
I have.
You don't think if Cameron Boozer didn't play after today, if he just decided I'm done, he would? You don't think he would win National Player of the Year?
I could tell you for 100% fact, if he said I'm done, he would not win National Player of the Year.
What if he got hurt? Which we don't want. Let's say this.
I don't want to talk about that.
28 starts. Does he win National Player? He's done enough already, you think?
I
think he has.
I think he has to finish the season.
All right.
But I don't want to talk about that.
I'm not rooting for it. But I'll say he's National Player of the Year to be.
I believe that he's the National Player of the Year front runner. But there's still a significant amount of time to be played in this college basketball season.
Sarr is fouled. Well, Notre Dame has cut into Duke's halftime lead by 2. Boozer, a generational night for a generational player. It's been a Duke drubbing here at South Bend, but a lot more great stuff happening in college basketball tonight. The new top 4 are all in action. Arizona and Iowa State on the road in the Big 12. Michigan hosts Minnesota. The nation's darlings, Miami, Ohio, 29 seconds away from a road win at Eastern Michigan over on ESPN+. They get to 28-0. St. Louis has pulled to within 13 at Dayton. That game's on ESPN Plus. A big bubble game. Cincinnati has surged onto the bubble over on ESPN2 right now, down 6 at Texas Tech. Missouri in the last 4 in for Joe Lunardi has a home game with Tennessee at 9 on SEC Network, and Auburn goes to Oklahoma. USC plays UCLA tonight. New Mexico's at Nevada. Jam-packed night of college basketball, especially where those razor-thin margins score on the bubble.
Yes, it's about that time where you start talking all kinds of bubble talk, and you ESPN analysts and play-by-plays also start talking about who's locked in and who needs this win, as if that's going to help anyone.
We got an answer from Joe Lunardi, by the way. He said UCF can lose out and make the tournament as long as they don't have a bad loss in the Big 12 tournament. If they win tonight at BYU.
So therefore,
Carson Towns scoops it up and in.
If they lose out, that means they would have a bad loss in the Big 12 tournament,
in
which
the
means
first
that
round,
they wouldn't make
it. It depends if they would be in the first round, depending on what the other teams in the Big 12 do. If they make it to the second round, then Joe's saying they get in this hypothetical we've made up.
But in this hypothetical, if they lose out, do you think that helps them get into the having a bye in the Big 12 tournament?
I don't think it would help, but it would be possible. There are some bad teams at the bottom of the Big 12.
Okay. And that's honestly where, with the ACC and with the Big 12, I think that's the difference between these two conferences and the SEC. The SEC does not have the bottom teams that the Big 12 and the ACC have. So this year has not been the same year for the SEC that we saw a season ago, but the depth of that conference is so strong. And when you think about the Big 12, which is very top-heavy, the ACC is as well. The depth of the SEC is part of the reason why that conference is so strong this year.
Armenia, who missed the second free throw, then scored again as a big possession at 66-32 Duke.
And another great find by Malik Brown at the top of the key.
Shrewsbury has still yet to score. And here's Cameron Boozer, 24-13, 2 assists, 3 steals. Brown will shoot a 3 and miss it. And Shrewsbury tracks down the rebound. Brown came out of nowhere, Corey, to smother the 3.
And that's what he does. But Hemenia looking to the bench, asking for a sub, or either that or he was saying, my fault. Not sure. He looked over at John Shire, patting his chest.
Caden Boozer, soft touch.
Nice job by Caden Boozer, recognizing the defender, closing out, able to get to the rim, showing off that nice touch, as you mentioned.
We're really nitpicking here when I asked this question. Duke's up 36, but we asked John Shire today about his team, and he said, I think we still have a lot of room to grow offensively. Now, tonight, they're absolutely rolling as Muhammad scores. Is Caden Boozer scoring a little more? Is that where Duke can get better offensively? And if not, where else do you think they can grow?
I believe it's Caden Boozer, it's Caleb Foster, and there are a number of guys. Darren Harris has given them good minutes here this evening. And then you can continue to develop as an offensive player. You know, shooting has been a concern for the Blue Devils as Darren Harris lines one up, unable to get it to go. But shooting is a concern for this team. When they go up against good defensive teams, they're going to have other players step up. This is not a great three-point shooting team for the Blue Devils, so they have to get the job done defensively, oftentimes when their offense struggles.
142nd in the country, about middle of the pack, 35%. Muhammad with an air ball. Boozer spots a running Harris, who spins into Shrewsbury and draws his second foul.
Malik Brown, who leads the Blue Devils in deflections, this time sprinting in, coming up with a blocked shot. And although John Shire says that Dame Sarr is the best on-ball defender that he's coached, he has to say that Malik Brown is the best overall defender that he's coached throughout his 4-year tenure with the Blue Devils. Malik Brown does everything on the defensive end for the Blue Devils.
Brown today has not scored, but he has 5 rebounds, 3 offensive, plus a block and a steal. And we're getting out toward the end of the season. You're getting toward all ACC time, awards time. And I know the numbers aren't overwhelming offensively, but if you're thinking ACC 6th man of the year, Malik Brown's got to be right at the top for his defensive work in one of the top 2 defensive teams in the country.
Yeah, he really does set the tone for them defensively.
But Harris with a tip, and then Harris bobbled the ball, which is out of bounds over our heads.
But that's how you get more minutes. That's how you show Jon Scheyer you belong on the floor, making hustle plays. And you mentioned Darren Harris coming out of high school, highly talented performer. But true coaching is getting great offensive players to play defense. And that's what Jon Scheyer's been able to do, not just this year, but the entire time that he's been with the Blue Devils as the head coach. If you go back to his teams that had Derek Lively, Kyle Filipowski, you know, you're talking about good defensive rebounding teams. Oftentimes the offense hasn't been there as it was last season. They had all the offense necessary last season, the reason why they found themselves in the Final Four and should have won a national championship.
Muhammad rolls it out. Jimenez got the rebound. Duke has just massacred the boards today, 37-18. They're doubling up and then some, the Irish. Quarter 3, Harris rattles it in. Darren Harris with a dozen points in 9 minutes. His career high 15 set earlier this year at Arby. He figures to get a whole lot of run in the final 12 today.
But that's one of the things that, you know, Kevin Connors and Seth Greenberg were talking about in the studio. Jon Scheyer can use this time to experiment a little bit. And the experiment to play Darren Harris more in the second half has paid off for Coach Scheyer. Darren Harris knocking down the corner 3 right in front of his former teammate.
Scheyer's taking Duke back to #1 at 25-2, and look at what he's done since taking over for Mike Krzyzewski. Since Jon Scheyer's first season, only Kelvin Sampson and Dan Hurley have more wins in Division I men's college basketball.
An elite company that you find Jon Scheyer in, and you really have to compliment not just Coach Scheyer, but also Coach Krzyzewski, Nina King, the athletic director for Duke, who's in the building today, but the way that they went about the transition, where John was the coach in waiting for a full year, was able to recruit the players to have the next season, and how things were able to easily, well, we call it easy, it looked easy from the outside if you get a chance to see Nina King, but the transition was so smooth in comparison to where we've seen other places where you have the guy that has to follow the guy. And whether that's Hubert Davis at North Carolina having to follow Roy Williams, whether that's Adrian Autry having to follow Jim Boeheim, you know, multiple times, Michael Shrewsbury having to follow Mike Gray. Sure. You know, I mean, the all-time wins leader as a coach here at Notre Dame, as Caleb Foster throws in another 3. And we talked about shooting being an issue for the Blue Devils. Darren Harris, Caleb Foster, a number of guys have started to get some quality looks and knocking them down, building more confidence as the season goes along.
They're 11 of 26 from 3. Cole Serta's miss means Notre Dame is 4 for 19. Figured if Notre Dame had any shot, those numbers would have to be reversed. Boozer inside for 2. Caden Boozer with 2 buckets. Remember when Mike Krzyzewski announced he was retiring and spent the full season? Because it's Duke. Everything Duke does either celebrated or criticized, right? There's not much middle ground. A lot of folks criticized and said, oh, you're taking this season-long retirement tour, et cetera, et cetera. He said, I wanted to provide clarity to the players. No, Jon Scheyer was going to be the next guy. Was heavily involved in recruiting. It pretty clearly worked. Everything you laid out worked with Nina King, Mike Krzyzewski to Jon Scheyer. And just because Duke has this history didn't mean it had to go this well when Jon Scheyer took over.
It did not, and the only thing that I didn't like about that is Coach K doesn't have to explain himself to anybody. When you've got 1,200 wins, you can do whatever you want to do in the fashion that you want. You deserve that, and I believe they pulled it off perfectly. Part of the reason why Jon Scheyer's been able to be so successful in his first 4 seasons as a head coach.
Sir Muhammad with a 3 for Notre Dame. 78-39. Foster up into double figures now for Duke. Foster, Evans, and Harris along with Cameron Boozer. 4 double-figure scores for the Blue Devils. Gungba, that was kicked by Muhammad. What is John Shire trying to get out of the final 10-18 of this game, besides no injuries?
Well, when you look at this roster, there aren't many players that you can put in for what is often looked at as garbage minutes. So you'll get more opportunities for Caleb Foster to be aggressive on the offensive end as he attacks the basket and is able to finish. You'll get more time for Darren Harris, Dame Sarr to get looks. Sarr's knocked down 2 threes in this game. So there's nothing that you can replace real game action with. And so John Shire will use this game action to work on some things that he feels can help his team moving forward this season.
Times for Notre Dame, which in its last home game last week scored 89 at a 15-point win over Georgia Tech. Serta no good from 3. Obviously, they've gone from Georgia Tech at the very bottom of the league to Duke at the top.
Well, the Blue Devils allow 63 points per game, and they have been blanking opponents as of late, and not just Michigan. But if you go back and look at what they've been doing over their last 5 to 6 games since the loss to North Carolina, they have absolutely gotten after defensively. 3rd in D1 in opponents' points per game, top 10 in opponents' field goal percentage, and 2nd in defensive efficiency. Now let me ask you this.
Yes.
Do you know who scored the most points against the Blue Devils this season? I had to snatch your game notes away as you were looking for it.
I was looking at it for a different thing. What just popped up on the bug was they've held 23 of 27 teams below their scoring average. My guess would be Florida State.
Oh, you already knew it.
I did not look at that.
Yeah, Florida State.
87 for Florida State?
The 87 for Florida State. Now, I believe Tennessee did score 89 in the exhibition game. But other than that, the Blue Devils have absolutely been lights out on the defensive end, and now they're playing some zones. So these are the part of things, the experiments that Coach Shire can do. Duke with a 3-2 zone that morphs into a man-to-man on that possession.
It leads to a foul line extended jumper for Kaler. Muhammad, often that can happen against the zone. You're more susceptible to rebounds.
If it was a zone, it really could have been man-to-man with them just heavily in the gaps on that possession.
Let's try boxing one out, just throw some stuff out there.
Again, who's the one?
I don't know.
That's the point. Nice foul.
Gungba almost had Sarr. You ever heard of a diamond in one defense?
Yes, I've definitely heard of a diamond in one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I invented that.
No, you did not.
Media Cup 2011. WARFM shut down Tony Olivero in a 19-point win over the Daily Orange. Gungba is fouled by Muhammad, and he'll go to the line for a 1-and-1. Patrick Gungba's 7 points has only played for 15 minutes because of 4 fouls. Gungba is a 68% free throw shooter on the year, and he'll get the second. ESPN NBA Wednesday doubleheader tomorrow. This is a dandy. I mean, an absolute dandy. The Thunder and the Pistons, the 2-1 seeds at the moment. Thunder, of course, the defending champs. Cade Cunningham, real MVP candidate for Detroit. And then the Celtics and the Nuggets to follow. NBA countdown starts it all at 7 Eastern.
Pistons coming off a loss to the San Antonio Spurs last night. Cade Cunningham 5 of 26 from the field, and the Spurs a true contender. The Spurs with 5 wins against the top 2 teams, as you mentioned right now, the #1 seeds in the NBA. 4 wins against OKC and 1 against Detroit last night, as Michael Shrewsbury, a former assistant coach for the Boston Celtics.
I wonder if one of his proteges in Boston is watching the game. I imagine he is. Jason Tatum, who is the chief basketball officer at Duke, as Patrick Gungba slams home another 2, gets into double figures, the 5th Blue Devil to do so.
Yes, this is a zone. Okay, my eyes were not deceiving me. The 3 across the front. John Shire experimenting with some zone in this game, but it's been the Fighting Irish having success against it. Offensive rebound put back on the first possession, and then the jump hook in the middle. So I'm sure that this zone will need a little more work for Coach Shire.
Coach's dream. You win big and you have some stuff to work on. Hamenya, Gungba, double team, and Gungba travel. What a performance by Duke. No mercy in this second half.
And Duke continuing to attack the paint. The nice find. Slim to Big Pat up top, who finishes strong.
The three to about 37%. Does a great job of getting in the lane and playing the contact. This Arizona team played at a high level despite playing without Koa Pete.
Currently projected as a 1 seed in the West, according to Joe Lenardi. Kev, it is a big game for Baylor.
Yeah, it sure feels like, Kev, a game Baylor needs as they are hovering just off the bubble. Here are the 1 and the 2 seeds. Duke has taken over the overall number 1. And Joe Lenardi's projected bracket from Michigan. UConn slid back up to the 1 after Iowa State lost to BYU, though UConn lost to Creighton last week. Big game tomorrow. UConn hosting St. John's for first place in the Big East. St. John's longest win streak since 1985. The real glory days of Red Storm basketball.
Absolutely. Mark Jackson, Chris Mullen. Talking about some studs at St. John's in '85.
That was so long ago, Corey. My parents had season tickets to St. John's in the 1980s.
They tell you what, they saw some great basketball.
Yes.
Quick quiz, can you tell me who won the NCAA championship in 1985? I'll give you a hint. It was a Big East team.
Would that have been Georgetown?
It would not. They lost to Villanova.
Oh, Villanova.
Yes. There you go.
A perfect game. Villanova beating Georgetown.
Yes, 1985, there were 3 Big East teams in the Final Four, including St. John's.
Who was the 4th team in the Final Four in 1985?
Now that is a trivia question that I'm going to have to do some more work on.
Malik Brown has checked in for Duke, which is up by 44. Patrick Gungba to the bench. Memphis State was the other team in 1985.
Not Memphis.
Not Memphis.
But Memphis State, that's right. As a matter of fact, when Penny Hardaway was playing there, they still were Memphis State. Another great steal by Malik Brown, showing he may need to play some football, showing off that type of range, catch radius.
Blue Devils free safety as Kaler tips it into Matt McClellan, getting some run here for Notre Dame.
Okay, so I have this next question. You see the promo pop up. We've got Baylor and Arizona.
Yes.
And then you've got UCF and BYU. Are you saying that if Baylor gets this win against the number 2 team in the country, as Cole Surt is able to knock down the 3 ball, would Baylor be in the NCAA tournament?
They wouldn't be that close.
Okay.
They're only considered right now.
Okay.
They would need a lot more.
Let's check it, see how much homework you've done.
But a win over Arizona would be nice. Cincinnati has moved into the considered range. They are on ESPN2 right now at JT Toppinless Texas Tech. Texas Tech did blow out Kansas State Saturday. Harris with a putback try, no. And the rebound to McClellan. NAIA transfer from NAIA Madonna. Getting some run here in South Bend. All the injuries Notre Dame has had. Kevin Jai back up big is done for the year. Marcus Burton. They haven't officially ruled him out for the year, but Micah Shrewsbury has all but ruled him out for the year. And it appears, will try to get a red shirt for Marcus Burton, who only played 10 games, as McClellan out of Canton, Michigan, puts in the 2.
And Burton is just now getting back to starting to do basketball activities. And with Notre Dame not yet a lock to make it into the ACC tournament, it would make absolutely no sense to bring Burton back in this season.
Amenya bucks it for 90 for the Blue Devils. A dozen threes for Duke. What a thorough thumping this has been. Oh, a year ago, these teams played in Cameron. Notre Dame only lost by 8. It was the second closest game Duke had at home all year.
And how many points did Marcus Burton have in that game?
More than he has tonight, right, or Frost?
Well, I mean, when you look at this Notre Dame team, though, I mean, you've got their 2 biggest difference makers sitting in street clubs. You talk about Marcus Burton, and then you go to Jalen Harrison, their McDonald's All-American prize freshman who's averaging 16.3 points per game in ACC play, and who's also a shot creator. So what you're missing is the ability to make plays for other players as Marcus Burton is still continuing to cheer on his team, being a great teammate. But I can tell you, I've sat in that position before, and it's tough to sit here and watch, especially games as such, where you know that you can make a difference for your team. It would not be a 43-point game if Marcus Burton and Jalen Harrelson are on the floor together.
You look at the non-conference, you can get a taste of what might have been for Notre Dame this year. They beat Missouri by 5. Missouri, who, according to Joel Lenardi right now, is inside the projected field. They won at TCU in the game where Marcus Burton got hurt. TCU also right on the bubble. Only lost by 1 at Ohio State. Played Kansas and Houston tough at the Players era. This was a team that, going into late December, reasonably looked like a much improved team. Well, maybe a team that could contend for the bubble. Burton gets hurt against TCU, that broken left ankle December 5th. And it's pretty much all spiraled from there. They're 5-12 without him, the first team All-ACC player. Here's Harris soaring in for 2.
But how about Jack Scott with the steal and the assist, getting his first action in quite some time.
Jack Scott, Cameron Sheffield have come in off the deep bench for Duke. Brody Stevens is in for Notre Dame as well, as McClellan's got another bucket. It's pretty cool. Kid who had played at Madonna University. You know where Madonna University is?
I have zero clue.
Livonia, Michigan. 14.5 points per game last year. He visited Notre Dame when he was 8. He's got Irish citizenship, and he's playing Notre Dame basketball. Cool story for him, but the night has belonged to Duke. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com. It looks like, Kev, Notre Dame down 44 at home. This is on track, not that Micah Shrewsbury wants to see this, to be Notre Dame's largest home loss since the 4th game in Notre Dame men's basketball history against the Chicago 1st Regiment. 64-8 was the final score.
Why are you getting so excited?
29, 1898.
Why are you getting so excited?
Who is the Chicago 1st Regiment?
Apparently they had some hoopers on their squad.
And what was their net ranking? Aspiring minds want to know.
Well, I can tell you that this most likely will be the largest loss in this building, which opened in 1968, because the largest loss to date is 39 points to a 5th-ranked Kentucky team on February the 12th, 1995. And so right now, down 46, the Blue Devils may end up walking away with not the largest home loss in Notre Dame history, but the largest loss in the Purcell Pavilion.
Kaler with a 3. No good. I tell you what, the members of Chicago 1st Regiment are rolling over in their graves right now. They're in a little trouble here. Scott Katenboozer. What do you think the mascot was of Chicago 1st Regiment?
I'm not getting into that with you.
Notre Dame that season went 1-2. They had a much better defensive effort in their next game. They lost 19-13 to the Chicago Clybournes, but like any team wants to do, they bounced back and they took down Rush Medical College 16-13, thrown right into the limelight after losing the back-to-back Chicago games.
Defensive battle, 16-13.
That's right. Whoa! Scott going over the top. Knocks down McClellan. That'll put McClellan at the line for a 1-and-1. I believe from some cursory research, Chicago 1st Regiment was basically akin to the Chicago YMCA at the time. The Chicago 2nd Regiment tried desperately to get on the schedule, but given the results of the first game, they were thoroughly denied.
Here you go.
Here's a 1-and-1 for McClellan. He got it. The 16th annual WWE Elimination Chamber, Saturday at the United Center in Chicago. Spot in the men's and women's championship matches at WrestleMania 42 is on the line. Maybe the Leprechaun will show up just down the road. Stream it exclusively with ESPN Unlimited Plan, live or on demand using the ESPN app. Begins at 7 Eastern. How do you think you do, CA, in the elimination chamber?
I would not do. That would be my answer to that.
It would be self-eliminated.
Yeah, exactly.
Duke looking for 100 here. 4 points away. Hamenya. Harris. Hamenya with another offensive rebound. Duke's got 14 of those. Boozer misses a 3. John Shire with a win tonight would become the first head coach in ACC history with a 40-point win, which is some doubt, with 2 40-point road wins in the ACC. They won by 43 at Georgia Tech 3 years ago, and the lead is 41 now.
Well, this hasn't been a league where you see much of that, as Boozer's able to get the bucket to go, even though I believe it was one of the hands of a Notre Dame player that tapped that basketball in. You know, Cameron Boozer, Caden Boozer, Nicholas Hamenya, and Dame Sarr will get off the hook, because tomorrow they have History of Hip Hop at 6:15 p.m. However, my brother and the professor in that class, Grammy Award winning producer, Ninth Wonder, is traveling. He has a DJ for Apple, so he's not going to be there. However, these guys do have an assignment that is to be done. They have to watch a documentary, so they do not get off the hook. They just don't have to show up at class tomorrow.
All right, so an easy day for History of Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Hamenya. What's the documentary, you know?
That part I did not get.
Boozer on the deck. Both teams still scrapping for loose ball with 44 seconds to go.
Uh-oh, is this 100?
Harris! Oh! Fouled by Kaler, and Kaler went right over to him to help him get up.
But so I was thinking to myself, Duke won't get to 100, right? Because they'll hold the basketball on the next possession. However, Derek Harris continuing to play hard, gets in the passing lane, comes up with the steal, and tries to go finish on Kaler. I respect Kaler not allowing the dump to happen, but more importantly, helping Harris right up after the good, hard, clean foul. But can Harris make both free throws and get it to triple digits for the Blue Devils?
Five for 5 at the line tonight. They're at 99. Coming up next, the SoFi Center in Jupiter, Florida. Our second TGL matchup of the night. Boston and New York, the Golf League. Last time Duke got 100 in regulation in an ACC road game, 1999 at Virginia. Coach K's only 40-point ACC road win. And they hit 100 tonight. 54 in the first half, 46 in the second. Stevens, son of Brad Stevens, takes a spill. Scott fouled him.
Well, being that we have time, I can tell you that the documentary is the Hip Hop Evolution, episode 1.
So they only have episode 1. They can watch that on the flight home.
They may be able to watch that on the flight home and take care of business at the end of this business trip.
Harris a little bloodied here.
Yeah, well, that's, again, we saw him shaking up the arm and the elbow once he got up after the foul.
You take history of hip hop or an equivalent class at UVA? Did they teach that on grounds?
No, they didn't have it on grounds at the time. I was taught by civil rights activist and leader Julian Bond, though. My favorite professor the entire time I was at the university.
I took history of Star Wars. It was pretty much the least surprising thing you've learned about me all season long.
That is not surprising at all.
So the shot clock is turned off. Corey, again, no hangover for Duke, no letdown whatsoever. If you had any questions about the character of this Duke team, and I'm not sure anybody did, they would have been answered tonight. 100-56, Duke demolition.
Best move, in my opinion, not going back to Durham. Keeping it business, not allowing the team to get back and hear the praises, bringing them to Chicago, bringing them to South Bend, and handling business out on the road.
Duke hands Notre Dame its worst home loss since the 19th century. 100-56. The Blue Devils and Boozer bruise the Irish. Let's send you to Jupiter, Florida for TGL.